let's reflect further on the one-year anniversary of the Queen's sad death with journalist and best-selling royal biographer Tom Bower. Tom, great to have you back on the show. Do you think the Queen has had enough recognition today?
Yes, I think that, definitely. But I think what's really been remarkable is how easy the transition has been. There hasn't been that much mawkish behaviour, and the King is well established.
Indeed so. Has she left a void in public life, though, do you think? Is there still a vacuum in her absence, Tom?
Yes, I think there is. I think there's a huge vacuum. And that's unfortunate because I don't think King Charles has filled what he inherited from his mother in the way that perhaps many of us expected and would desire. I think the Queen was such an unbelievable character in our lives. As you so rightly said, she just represented everything that was good about Britain. And I fear that King Charles just cannot replace his mother. There's so many negatives in his past life, and currently too, that it's very hard to see how he can in any way fill the huge gap that the Queen left.
Indeed, perhaps the only people that could fill that gap would be King William and King Kate, but obviously we all hope that will be a long time from now. How long do you think Charles is going to sit on his hands and stay out of politics, Tom? Are we still in the honeymoon period where he's on his best behaviour?
Well, that, of course, is the problem, that Charles finds it very hard not to interfere. And he's quite right not to interfere. That would have been an absolute catastrophe for him if he had tried to meddle in any way or give his opinions. But somehow one just doesn't feel he's actually totally engaged. One just feels all the time that he is just trying to be good, but maybe in a bit of a rut, which is why he was unfairly called a caretaker king. I'm not quite sure why that is. I think that he completely misplayed the Harry-Meghan saga, that he should have asserted his own importance and that he wasn't going to be treated in that way. I think Prince Andrew is a constant problem for him. And what really troubles me most is that young people on the whole are polling anti-monarchist. And I think it isn't just because Charles is an old man, so to speak, like me, but also because he doesn't offer them a future. We grew up with the Queen. We liked what she represented. I don't think young people especially know what does King Charles actually represent. And that is a great problem. I don't know the causes that he actually fights for. Obviously, climate change, he did very well in the environment. But the Commonwealth isn't his passion. And culture may be his passion, but I'm not sure whether his culture is a popular culture. It certainly isn't. And I think that is the problem, that we are still baffled by what does King Charles actually represent? What does he stand for?
Yes, and of course his concerns about the environment, whilst laudable, are inherently political, which is why he's got to keep stum. Now, Tom, I've always liked Camilla, but she's had a pretty low-profile first year as Queen, hasn't she? What would you put that down to?
Well, I think several aspects. First of all, Camilla is not the greatest activist. I mean, she is not terribly energetic. I don't think she really loves being Queen. I think she knows that there is a large residue of Britons who resent her presence there. And I don't think that she is that healthy. And I think, if anything, that is really somewhat of a drag on Charles himself. She doesn't want to fly to Australia. She doesn't want to fly to Kenya. She doesn't like going much further probably than Paris and Berlin because she gets jet lag and all the rest. And I don't think she sees herself as a leader and as a monarch and embracing and representing values which are important in a leader and a monarch. So I think there are a whole load of negatives against it. Her greatest quality, of course, is making the king happy. There's no doubt about that. But, that isn't a reason to be Queen. And I think that is the problem. I think there's a dynamic between Charles and Camilla, which is healthy for the two of them, but doesn't actually translate to making the monarchy more popular, more vibrant, more relevant, and more engaged than it is at the moment. And I do think there is a moment where the monarchs, and especially King Charles, will have to step up and engage more with the public rather than just going to the Highland Games.
Tom, always a thrill to have you on the show. I look forward to catching up soon. My thanks to top royal biographer, best-selling author Tom Bower.